Morning, the birds are chirping, the sun is rising,
It's
your bank
risen.
account
It's risen.
shrinking, your bank account shrinking, your bag of potato chips has got more air than potato chips, your Kellogg's cereal box is smaller, and the prices are the same. However, it always seems like the biggest problem in this case, David, sorry, I know you're in Canada, in America is the Republicans, and that the Democrats are the saviors of humanity. David, he's traveling around. We lost his purple background, but he's got his Mickey Mouse ears on. So we're
Don't
doing
say
good.
that. You know my feeling about Disney.
Yeah. So David, I guess we're trying to convey a number of messages with this rant. And I think there are so many messages that stem around that the left has to show you how bad the right is to try and make themselves look good, but I don't think it's working.
Well, it's even worse than that. Stuart, you started off by talking
The
about
birds are chirping.
the birds are chirping. The sun has risen. But the problem is we're sitting here on a noon in the middle of a week. It's another day. It's another dollar spent by the average American, Canadian, you name it. And their dollar isn't going as far. Yes, you could say, look, gas prices are coming down, right? I mean, it's gone down a few percentage points. And I know about you, but when some people, I've heard somebody said, "Wow, when the gallon went below $5, I got excited." In what world would we have been excited with a $5 gallon or 4.95 gallon? It's the same thing here. I'm in Toronto. I saw $2 a liter. I'm used to seeing 2.25, and I see $2, and I go, "What a deal!" It's ridiculous. Look what happened to us, right? Short-term memory, and this is what the politicians are trying to convince us, Stuart, that we, as the average humans, have a short-term memory. We forget the pains of the past. We forget our current pains, and we're stupid to listen to them. Case in point, November, there's going to be an election in the United States, right? The House, the Senate, blah, blah, blah. It's not a presidential election, but it's a changeover nonetheless, right? So, of course, the media and politicians are trying to convince you, Democratic politicians, liberal politicians are trying to convince you that a vote for the Republicans is a vote for the end of democracy. Bullshit. Vote for that if the Republicans would have controlled the House and the Senate, they couldn't lower the price of gas. They couldn't lower your cost of living. They couldn't put baby formula on the shelves. This is what they're trying to convince you. It's not that, they screwed up, and they screw up. And by the way, you talk about the United States, it's the same thing here in Canada. We're having the same arguments, the same conversations. And the conservatives here they have a leadership, campaign here. There's going to be a new leader in September. And the scary part, Stuart, is you're putting up this inflation rate table. Listen how stupid people think we are. The
Well,
media
that's what I want to do, Dave. I'm going to cut you off. I want to cut you off. Look at this, David.
Yep.
Look at this
Yep.
table.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep. Yep.
let's enlarge it.
Yeah, the numbers are staggering.
Let's look
Staggering.
2020, 2019, 2018, 2016. Now, look, 2021, when Biden was elected, look at it is now 8.58%.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a table, David. Yes.
And
very
wait,
much.
and what have we heard from the left? It's not Biden's fault. Here, it's not Trudeau's fault. We had COVID. We have a war in the Ukraine. Look at China. All about pointing the finger somewhere else. The fascinating thing about this entire exercise, and we heard it in the media, we've heard it in time and time again, the fear mongering. This is what the left is good at doing. They did this with COVID. They scared the crap out of people to try to get them to say, listen, trust me, I'm going to save you. And they're doing it again by convincing you that a vote that the right couldn't do better, And the right would be, if you vote for the right, is the vote for the end of democracy. Look at the January 6th hearings.
Oh
Stuart,
wow.
it's the end of because we have millions of dollars to spend on a hearing. It's the end of
Well,
democracy.
you
Come
know, and
on.
you have an ABC producer putting on the hearings, a made-for-TV drama,
Yeah,
and like,
well, but
listen,
it's more than that, Stuart. It's more than that. It's more than that. It's the shoveling. It's the look. Who controls the messaging, right? It's the media that controls the messaging, and it's their producers are shoveling this stuff. That again, who's responsible? It's got to be Trump. It's got to be Trump. Look how many. Oh, the GOP candidates that are being endorsed by Trump. Oh my God, Trump has power, folks. He does have power, and he does have sway. But he's not the only reason that the countries are falling apart. You can't blame Trump, who's not in power. You can't tell me he's controlling gas prices. You can't tell me he's controlling putting food on the table. You can't tell me that he's controlling baby formula stocking of shelves. Don't give me this. It's the man
listen,
on it's the man
you're,
on the
you're
bike. The man on the bike who fell the other day is more responsible than the guy who's running around the United States campaigning.
Kamala Harris was like, "Ooh, maybe I'm going to be president now."
And did you hear? Now there's a push. Maybe we should groom Kamala Harris for 2024. Guys, no one's caring at this moment. Stuart, no one is not no one. The average American and the average Canadian has more interest of their take-home pay, their health care or lack thereof, their food on the table. That's what they're caring about today. And the Democrats and the liberal media don't care.
You're right, and now they're villainizing Elon Musk. George Soros is trying to go after Elon Musk now.
Yeah.
Because he's got enough money to do so. Listen,
And
guys,
he's gonna buy Twitter. You heard that Elon Musk got like the board unanimously is endorsing the purchase by Elon Musk. That's scaring the crap out of the left because oh my God, another opinion might actually get the light of day. We may not all have to run to Rumble to be able to hear another side. We may be able to go and hear it on Twitter that, we may get rid of dictators finally off of Twitter, and we may be able to allow right-wing thinkers.
But David, did we get any strikes on Twitter?
Oh, not on Twitter, but man, did we get strikes on YouTube. But and this is the thing, is like, when you tell people think, use your head. Oh, don't tell people to think. God forbid you should tell people to think. Stuart, I don't know about you, but I have met a lot of people. I'm here in Toronto. I'm at a trade show. It's a technology trade show. It's really cool. Hundreds and hundreds of startups trying to get off the ground, trying to find investment. And the venture capitalists are saying, we're pulling back on investments. We haven't heard that in ages. When you talk about, technologies are future, and there's some beautiful opportunities there. And VCs are saying, we're not investing like we used to. Our dollar isn't as safe as it used to be. We have to think a little bit smarter now in how we're investing it. That's a shock. That's part of what's going on. It's not a COVID casualty. Don't blame Trump for that.
But it's easy.
But it's convenient.
I don't have to think. Listen, the Asian vote is no longer left, right? The percentage of Asians that now vote conservative.
African Americans have woken up and realized that the party that's supposed to have protected them all these years have left them on the sidelines. There is the amount of African Americans who voted Republican in 2020 was higher.
I'm listen, you always got to compare and contrast, right? 50 years ago, you and I would be a Kennedy Democrat.
Yep.
And he wasn't the best president in the United States either. And I use him as a stone to needle my cousin Rupert, who seems to think that these, you know, January 6th, Stuart, are you watching these January 6th trials? I mean, the guy's a producer in Hollywood, right? Are you watching? I'm like, dude, did they not hire an NBC top line executive and
I
make
got a
it
question.
for
I got a
TV
question.
drama?
I got a question. What am I
Yeah,
watching? What am I watching? A circus? Yes, I'm
yeah.
watching a circus. And you know
Where's
what?
the Oregon
Rupert,
trial? Where's the
Rupert,
Oregon trial?
Rupert, I want to know one thing. If you're telling me that this is the most important topic in America today, and you firmly believe that Americans across the country, and don't tell me the ones in Arkansas and Mississippi and Alabama don't count, because that's what you hear from the left, because they're not educated, they're not, Ivy League, they're not,
Well,
whatever.
it's kind of funny, but as a side note, Alabama is people don't think the South is being a smart place. Alabama, that's where the rockets came from that got us to the moon, and that develop all the rockets that get us back to the
Stuart,
space.
it's
Oh,
not important. Don't deal with fact, please. How dare you deal with
oh,
fact?
oh,
The thing
fact.
is that if you listen to people, Florida, North Carolina, Arkansas, New Hampshire, forgive me, a lot of these areas, not COVID people have allergies. Just amazing. The average person is more concerned today about food on the table, about gas in the car, about being affording health care. That's the look at what the pollsters who are apolitical are pulling out, and they will tell you that's what America cares for. That's what Canada cares for. They don't care about politics. They're tired.
I'm tired.
Well, yeah, but
I'm tired.
when
I'm
you
exhausted. I'm exhausted over the most boring news channels that have existed. I am so tired of the polarization. I'm so tired of the vitriol left being the little schoolgirl kid yelling and screaming. Whatever they claim the right has done or is doing, the left is who they're trying to emulate. They're talking about themselves, saying, "Oh no, it's not us who's controlling inflation; it's the red." Anything negative in their news cycle is someone else's problem. When I was growing up, Dave, and I'm still growing up. If you couldn't accept responsibility of causing something or doing something, then you are actually the problem. It's an old adage. You got to sometimes be the CEO that says, you know what? I'm the reason why. I'm responsible for all of this. Biden doesn't think he's responsible for a southern border. Biden doesn't think he's responsible for the economy. Biden doesn't think he's responsible for anything. And their excuse is constantly blame Trump. Now, I want to give you a flashback and make you have diarrhea now because we're getting to the quarter hour. Obama blamed Bush for absolutely everything, even 7 years, 8 years after he was president of the United
it's so
States.
funny.
And someone else.
I had a beer last night with a colleague, and he's a 30-something. He's not into politics, and he asked me straight out, and I said to him, what has not changed? Blame somebody else. Look, did
I
Trump
didn't do it.
Did Trump blame Obama? Of course he did. Okay. But Trump got up there and said, here's what I'm going to do, and did it. But then on the other hand, Biden says, I'm going to do this, and this. And we're all waiting. The Make America Great Again, that bring back, whatever, build back America, whatever, that $4 trillion bill, where is it? Dead. This gun legislation that they're going to try to bring through, which is, look at it at its nominal. Guys, we're lost. And I don't think we have leadership. I don't think that there is. And I think when people go to the ballot box, they're going to vote, and it's going to be angry. On that note, Stuart, why don't we say goodbye to our friends, and we'll talk to them again on Friday, who, by the way, this Friday is the holiday I was referring to last week. It is it's Saint Jean the Baptist. It's a national holiday in Quebec. where no one's allowed to work. Otherwise, you get fined. It's a terrible, terrible thing. But Stuart, you know what? We're going to rent anyways. So
Hey,
have
David,
yourselves. Yeah,
you can come to the States anytime. We'll take you.
I'm looking
But
forward to
you
it.
may have to go through the southern border because you're educated and you have money. And you know,
Uh,
all right, I
have your
guess.